Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your November 2021 mid-month general reading. We are looking at the last 2 weeks of November, and this reading is for the air sign of Libra. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're all doing well, safe, and healthy. Thanks for taking the time to be here, for watching the videos, for your likes, shares, subscribes, all that you do in support of this channel. I know my background has changed temporarily. I'm doing a little bit of traveling, although I'll be back by the time these posts. So backgrounds when you travel are always a bit hit and miss. But thanks for taking the time to be here anyway. Okay, Libra, this reading is for you for the last 2 weeks of November 2021. That's if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Libra. It's also relevant if you're cross-watching for a Libran. It's a general reading, as you know, so it's always going to resonate a little differently for everyone. But watch all of your signs if you know them for any additional insight. And if you find that something resonates with you and you'd like to perhaps reach out for a personal reading for yourself or as a gift for someone else, feel free to email me directly. You can click on the description link below, that little arrow. You'll see my email address there, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. I can usually respond within the same day with more information. I do offer a wide variety of readings, so email me if you're interested. We do have our big gift giving holidays coming up, and personal readings make great gifts for people, so something to keep in mind. Okay, Libra, let's move into this and see what the last 2 weeks of November 2021 look like for you. I am using the Gilded Tarot. Okay, Libra. We begin with some stress, too much stress. The Nine of Swords. Stress, anxiety, worry, fear of the future, insomnia, kind of your fears about an unknown future hijacking your rational mind. With the Queen of Swords, there you are, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. So some of you are focused on not having the answers about something, how something's going to play out in the future, and really stressed out and anxious about it. It's not to say that the Nine of Swords isn't valid, meaning that whatever it is that you're stressed out and anxious about or in fear about isn't valid. But the Nine of Swords represents too much energy. It's obsessive energy. I mean, it's so much that it's keeping this woman up late at night. She can't sleep because she's worried. What do I do if this happens? What do I do if this doesn't happen? It's not that the fear itself isn't real or what you're nervous or anxious about isn't real, but the Nine of Swords represents too much negative, obsessive focus on it. So you can cut that back a little bit. Next, we have the Two of Wands. This is a card about being at a crossroads of action. Because Wands is governed by the element of fire. This is the Two of Fire, and fire is action oriented. So here the person is kind of at a crossroads and they're trying to make a decision which path to take, what action to take. With the Ten of Swords, sometimes called the betrayal card, it can represent feeling betrayed, stabbed in the back, exploited, thrown under the bus, but it also represents the worst of that coming to an end. This is like the tens in the tarot represent cycle ending or cycle fulfillment. So the tens represent the most energy of that elemental suit that the suit can hold. So this is the Ten of Wands, which is the Ten of Swords, which is the Ten of Air, which is your sign. Air governs our intellectual landscape, um, which is the card after this Nine of Swords. You have the Nine and Ten of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is, I'm so worried about what's going to happen. I'm so worried about what may happen in this future. And the Ten of Swords is, okay, well, it's happened. It's not going to get any worse than this, you know. You can see, though, in the background that the clouds are beginning to break up. You can see light coming through. And in other tarot decks, too, you can actually see the sun rising in the horizon and animals beginning to return to the scene. So whatever this Nine and Ten of Swords represents for you, Libra, because it's a general reading, it's going to vary in like the details and the intensity as well. It's at an end, right? After this, it's renewal. It's time to get up and dust yourself off and kind of begin to move on from this. And this is clarifying the Two of Wands. So basically, this is stress, anxiety, worry, fear about like this absolute worst thing you envision happening. And then what do I need to do? Some of you, it might be what do I need to do? What course of action do I need to take? What course of action do I need to take? Some of you, it's to prevent the worst from happening, or it's just kind of moving through this. We have, I, we have the Three of Swords, which is about emotional pain. It's sometimes heartache, heartbreak, emotional pain, sometimes breakups, emotional difficulty, or significant disappointment. Excuse me. I don't, I really don't like seeing the Three of Swords and the Ten of Swords in the same, reading, um, because it usually represents, emotional pain or difficulty or breakup sometimes in relationships that come from feeling betrayed, feeling kind of thrown under the bus. With the Three of Swords, we have the King of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. It could be a fire sign, or it could be somebody that manifests like that energetic, charismatic King of Wands. Excuse me. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy is the Nine of Wands, the Wounded Warrior card. It's a card about feeling discouraged, feeling like, I don't know if I can make it to the end, but you're very close to the end of something, because after the Nine of Wands, of course, we have the Ten of Wands, which is, it's a difficult 10 to take, like the Ten of Swords. So here in the Nine of Wands, this person is kind of taking a knee. They've run into some obstacle or hurdle, and they're like, they may not realize how close to wrapping up a difficult cycle they are. So they're feeling discouraged, perhaps depressed. How do I get through this? This is difficult. This is challenging. This feels like Libra. I mean, this is a challenging reading. I'm going to clarify some of these cards. It's challenging because, it feels like one of those readings that it's one of those times in life which we all, I think, have gone through at least once, where either someone has hurt us, betrayed us in a way that we weren't expecting or anticipating, and we're heartbroken or hurt because of that, or we've run into some kind of or we've run into some kind of difficulty. You've run into some kind of difficulty or problem in your life, and somebody that you believed or expected was going to be there for you simply wasn't or isn't. So let's clarify a little bit. Let's clarify the Nine of Wands. The Chariot is clarifying the Nine of Wands. So this is feeling, discouraged. That, I mean, the Chariot represents success on a difficult path. It's success that only comes if you, willpower, perseverance, discipline, maybe getting run over 9 times, and it's that 10th time you get up and stagger on that you win because you simply refuse to lose. But it's a very difficult, challenging path. I mean, it references the early Roman and medieval chariot races, which were kind of brutal. It's not like there was ever a tie, right? There's one winner, and you had to go through this massive battle first to see who the winner was. And it was only by being absolutely ambitious and absolutely driven that you win. But it's clarifying the Nine of Wands. So here, there's a situation, Libra, where you're wondering if, in fact, you can get to the end of something, or even if you want to, because the Chariot represents winning only because you refuse to give up no matter what happens, no matter what gets in your way, no matter how difficult it is. And I think some of you are wondering if you want to keep going in the same direction that you have been, and if so, how do you do that? Maybe because the Nine of Wands can represent feeling like you just want to give up. It's the 11th hour, it's darkest before dawn card. And here it's about, making decisions. Some of you, and there's a relationship central here too. Now, because this is a general reading, the type or nature of that relationship is going to vary because we have a King of Wands here, and this is not you, this is somebody else that's relevant in this situation. It could be a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, could be a best friend, a partner of some other kind. And there's some significant disappointment or feeling betrayed even by this person, and needing to and being at a crossroads and needing to make a decision to take action and not being sure which action to take or which road to take. That's what and it's a short period of time. We're looking at a 2-week period of time, the last half of November. And for some of you, the difficulty might be centered around the relationship with this individual, but it could also be about a different situation in your life that you really needed this love and support and help with from somebody that you relied on, but then found out that you couldn't rely on. And either way you look at it, it's painful and difficult. It's one of these challenging readings because I think we've all gone through this at least once, right? Let's clarify the Nine of Swords. And for some of you, the decision that you're trying to make might be twofold. It might be, what do I do to deal with this situation? Because I thought I could rely on my person over here to help with this situation, and I can't. So, one, I have to figure out what I need to do about this situation, to either recover from it or so that it doesn't get to the worst possible ending that I'm thinking about. And two, for the relationship or partnership issue, what do I do about that? Some of you, it might just be about a relationship, but I'm also feeling that for some of you Librans out there, it's about two things. It's about a relationship that you found yourself in that's very difficult, and the person you thought you could rely on for some kind of help and support and encouragement and all of that just turned out not to be there for you. So it's kind of twofold for some of you. Clarify the Nine of Swords. And while there's never a good time for anything like this to happen, of course, we're beginning to transition into the holiday season, and sometimes that can make things even more difficult. The Page of Pentacles. So, Page of Pentacles is clarifying the stress insomnia card, the Nine of Swords. So pages represent, students, apprentices, being at the beginning of a path. Pages are kind of like have that student energy. They're in the process of learning and trying to figure out, how to apply what they're learning to the path in front of them. But it's a very introductory sort of energy. Sometimes they represent children or young people. It might be a young person that you're worried about. It could be a child, whether it's a young child or an adult child. It could be about somebody that you're worried about, in this situation, and you're not getting the help and support from your person that you thought. But for others of you, you know, I mean, you're here as a Queen of Swords, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, with all of this stressed out, anxious, insomnia. Oh my God, what am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if this doesn't happen? And the Page of Pentacles is clarifying that. And the page represents somebody who pages aren't able, they're not knights, they're not, pages are in the process of acquiring information and knowledge, they're learning. And then they transition to the knights, where the knights take that information and knowledge and they begin to put it into action, and then we move on to the kings and queens, who learns how to kind of combine those and manifest things in a balanced way because of the experience they have. We all start off as pages, right? So here in the page, it's about learning. It's about it feels here, Libra, like you feel a little bit kind of lost, like you're showing up as a queen or a king. I don't pay too much attention to gender in general readings, but you're feeling kind of lost, like you're okay, what do I do about this thing? I'm not even sure about, what path I should take. Again, it feels like some of you are dealing with a situation and you're not sure how to deal with it. Maybe you don't have the knowledge or information, or you're trying to acquire the knowledge and the information about, okay, how do I get this information and how do I actually apply it in a practical way? Let's clarify the Two of Wands. The Lovers, a relationship at a crossroads, needing to make a decision, which is interesting because it's clarifying already a decision energy. Card, Two of Wands, trying to make a choice as to which path to take, which course of action to take. And the Lovers is also about a relationship crossroads, needing to make a choice. Sometimes the choice is about the relationship itself, or sometimes it's in another area of life, but it's also going to impact the relationship, or the future of the relationship. And the Magician is the manifester. He knows how to uh, take everything that he knows, that he's learned, and all his experience, wisdom, and resources in order to make something happen, to manifest something happening. Let's clarify the Ten of Swords. The Star, renewed and restored hope, faith, and optimism. This usually in the tarot chronologically comes after the Tower, after some unexpected breakdown or unexpected event happens that might be difficult or challenging to deal with. The Star comes out after that to renew and restore hope, faith, and optimism. Also, the Six of Wands, which is victory and triumph after a struggle or a battle of some kind. But this is what's clarifying the Ten of Swords. And over that is needing to make a decision about a relationship. So, again, it's pretty much the same theme. For some of you, it's just going to be all centered around a relationship. For others of you, it's twofold. It's about some other situation you're dealing with, could be anything really. Expecting that your partner would be a partner to you or support you in some way, and they're not. And so it feels like there's a big decision here as to what do I do about that? I think some of you, it's about making a decision as to the future of a relationship, or perhaps a relationship not having a future. Trying to make a decision about that. Let's clarify the Three of Swords. The Knight of Cups, an offer or opportunity driven by love, support, and encouragement. The Six of Swords, which is a card of healing, moving away from something difficult and challenging and into more calm and balanced. More calm and balanced place in life. But this is what's clarifying the Three of Swords, which is emotional pain, heartache, heartbreak, which is over this King of Wands. Someone has let you down, Libra. Someone has hurt you or let you down, a combination of both. It feels like you were expecting something from this person and it's not forthcoming, and that really hurts. It's painful, it's difficult to deal with. And because it's a general reading, it, it, this could comprise a lot of different things for a lot of people. It could be, somebody cheating on you in a relationship and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what do I do now? Should I end this? Should I move on? Should we try and heal this? Some of you, it's like, I'm going through this other difficult issue in my life and I expected my partner to be there for me and they're not. So I have to deal with this situation on my own when I shouldn't have to deal with it on my own. So I have to deal with both that. And then, of course, what do I do about the relationship itself? It could be that you were waiting for some kind of offer or opportunity, and from your partner. Maybe you were waiting for, a marriage proposal or something of that sort. Again, it's a general reading. It can mean a lot of different things, but it's about needing to make a pretty significant decision about the relationship itself and the future of the relationship, whether the relationship is going to continue or not. And, some of you might also have this additional thing to deal with as well. Um, but it feels like it's primarily focused on, okay, what do I do about this relationship? Because what I expected from this person, I didn't get, I'm not getting from this person. And what course of action do I choose because of that? Because again, this is, it's a challenging reading. It looks painful, Libra. Looks really difficult, painful, challenging. So let's see what guidance advice Spirit has. Okay, Judgment, another major crossroads card. But this is pretty significant, profound major arcana crossroads. Judgment means that you're called to the front, right? You're called up there and you have an opportunity to answer for your actions and perhaps take a different path, a redemptive path. This card usually shows up when somebody has a choice in front of them, and the consequences of that choice will likely be long lasting, if not permanent. Meaning that if you choose to act differently than you have before, it's going to change your life path and you're not going to go back from it, right? Can't reverse it. If you choose to stay in the situation or make the same choices you have been making, that's probably where you're going to be stuck for quite some time, if not permanently. Meaning, for example, in terms of this being about a relationship, if you make a decision to end the relationship, to move on in a different direction, um, it's probably there's probably not going to be a reconciliation. It means you move on into a different path, a different direction. Your life changes. It just goes off in a different direction. If you choose to stay within the relationship, whatever has been happening, whatever has happened will probably continue, but you'll probably just stay in there. It may just be that, sometimes making decisions to stay in these kind of relationships or situations erode our sense of self or sense of self-esteem or self-worth over a period of time, and we just continue to stay in a situation because we can't see anything else. So it's a pretty profound card. It's about spirit saying, look, you're at a crossroads. You could make some pretty significant decisions to change your life path. Will you? Are you? The high priestess. The high priestess is about your intuition. Some people call it higher self, some people call it gut instinct. This is a card of knowing, which is our connection to the divine. And this is a strong implication, Libra, that you know which path you should take. You know which path is the best path for you. You know which choice is the best choice for you. Now, free will, free agency, you could ignore that and do something different, or do the same thing you have been doing, even though you know that making a different choice is better for you. Free will, free agency, right? We learn on whatever path we're on. But this is an indication that you have some sense of knowing which is the best decision and best path for you. Strength, which is facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, your own perhaps, poor habits or decision making patterns, facing those, having the courage to face those, which is what you gain more of by doing that. Wisdom, courage, humility, saying, okay, I'm in this position because this is the choices that I've made, and in order to get myself out of this place, these are the choices that I should be making. Am I going to do that? This is about kind of facing all of that. The, t- the tower and the Ace of Cups on the other side of the tower, which I like seeing. I mean, the tower is that difficult, unexpected event, which often, not always, it just fundamentally represents an unexpected occurrence, which potentially is pretty life path changing. Um, but it often represents the breaking down of something that can be challenging, even devastating and painful. Again, it's a general reading, so the intensity of whatever this is going to vary. But we do have the tower and the star here, both in this reading, which I like because it represents that, you know, whatever has happened here that looks so difficult and challenging to deal with, Libra, and either is about or includes, somebody letting you down in a pretty major way, there's hope and renewal and restoration. What it spirit is saying here is that you need to have the courage to face not only the fact that something is coming to an end and allowing that to come to an end, because the tower, while you may have thought it was solid, stable, reliable, going to last forever, i.e., the relationship, the situation, whatever it is, there's a flaw in there somewhere. And so Spirit is taking it upon themselves to kind of bring this structure, bring this thing down so that you can actually have something better moving forward in the future, because the star card comes out after that to renew and restore hope and faith. You know which decision is the best one to make, but it's difficult. right? It represents facing the things that we're afraid of, and facing our perhaps responsibility and part that we've had to play in this as well. But going through that, what's on the other side is that star card is renewed, restored hope, faith, and optimism, and wish fulfillment and emotional renewal again. But it's about kind of going through that tower moment, that something breaking down, and having to kind of go through and pick up the pieces and clean it up. But it's by going through that that we get onto the other side and move through, continue to move through life in a better way. um, it's difficult. It's a difficult read, because it represents going through an experience and a time, that's necessary and essential, but difficult and challenging. And often with these tower card times in our life, not always, but often it's about a situation, person, place, situation, relationship, whatever, that needed to change, or that we needed to make significant changes or choices about, but we chose not to for whatever reasons, fill in the blank. And at some point, spirit goes, well, this isn't meant to go on this way, so we're going to come in pretty quickly and bam, kind of uh, make this happen, orchestrate things, or allow things to happen in a way that you have no choice but to move on from this, right? So that's kind of what's happening here. So, Libra, that is your reading for the last 2 weeks of November. It, it's not one of those, as I hear sometimes, rainbow and skittles kind of readings, and so I can't, like I sometimes say about some readings, it's not one of those readings where I can say, I hope you enjoyed it, because this looks like a really challenging, difficult time. But I hope that the reading brought some clarity, um, some hope for the future as well. And just knowing that you're not the only one kind of going through this, and you're not the only one that has gone through it. So, in that sense, I hope that it's been helpful for you. Again, if any of this resonates with you, I hope it doesn't. But for those of you for whom it does, if you'd like to reach out for a more in depth look, a more personal reading for yourself or as a gift for someone else, click on the description link below. You'll see my email address there, Maggie, the number one McGuire at gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. And again, for those of you who are celebrating the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday, I hope you have a safe and happy and peaceful holiday. And I hope to see you back here again soon. I'll see you all in a couple of weeks for the December general readings. Take care. Bye bye.